This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. Joining me today, we have Gavin Robyn, and he is with Next Door Photos. Gavin, welcome to the podcast.
Absolutely, Dory. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you and learn more about you and learn about your business. So let's start there. Share with us a little bit about Next Door Photos.
Yeah, absolutely. Next Door Photos, we are a kind of all-hands-on media marketing company specifically designed for realtors, property managers, investors. We offer photos, videos, drone work, virtual tours, floor plans. Those are our 5 core products as agents here in the Virginia DMV area.
Nice. So I would love to learn more about you. Tell me about your background and tell me how you got into this.
Yeah, well, I have a background in photography. It's where I started. In high school, I was doing, senior portraits, family shoots, branched into weddings very briefly. And I got connected to Next Door Photos from a mutual friend of mine who was mentoring and doing some business coaching for the recruiting director of Next Door Photos at the time. He said, "Hey, Gavin, I know you've got a passion for photography. You're thinking about, going to school for architecture. So I know you like buildings. What about this company that's doing real estate photography?" And at the time, I was just a freelancer, just doing my own thing. And I didn't have any previous business experience, but I was very intrigued by the company and the mission and vision that they have. And now that I have gotten to embrace, and the rest is history from there.
Amazing. So how does it work? Are you a photographer within Next Door Photos? Is there like a group of photographers? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so every location is independently operated. We have over 100 locations across the country, and every location has one local owner that runs operations for the local area. So the idea there being there are a lot of, it's a very saturated market. There are a lot of photography companies out there. The local guys, people who are very invested in the communities, fantastic people, but they may not have the back end supports that a national company can bring. And then on the flip side, your national companies, they have everything you want as far as systems, as far as operations, but they're not very personable. They're not connected to the local community. So Next Door Photos is kind of the bridge between those two worlds in having something that is able to be scaled at a very large level, but also still have the local touch.
Nice. I love that. So almost like a franchising or a licensing model.
Indeed.
Awesome. I love that. So since we're on the subject of talking about business models, if someone came to you and they were thinking about buying a franchise or getting into business, maybe even starting the business completely on their own from scratch, what advice would you give them?
I think a franchise, all it comes down to is finding the right partners and making sure that you are aligned both in your values, your mission and vision. If you don't have that, it's going to fall apart very quickly. Most entrepreneurs that, whether you're starting on your own or even franchisee owners, they do not last long. I think there's a statistic out there that I read, don't quote me on it, that somewhere around 50% of entrepreneurs fail within the first 5 years. I feel like that, from what I've seen in the people that I've met and worked with in the past, is pretty accurate. And I think it comes down to the right partners, surrounding yourself with people that are much wiser than you, never being the smartest person in the room, so to speak, and constantly learning, constantly failing and viewing that failure as learning. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit.
I love that. Yeah, you can't be afraid to fail. You're going to learn from it. You got to fail to grow, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. So let me ask you this. Do you find that there are many or any myths or misconceptions about your industry?
I think maybe one particular one that I get a lot is the differentiation between being a vendor versus being a partner with a realtor. I think that realtors work with a lot of vendors in their roles, right? And real estate agents, even property managers, they're bouncing between title companies and mortgage lenders. They're bouncing between painters and cleaners. Photography is a little bit more, I would say it holds a special place because marketing is, a very large portion of what realtors are investing in. And so I do think there's maybe an elevated role that a photographer has the privilege of entering into where we become an extension of their team. And the marketing that we do, it is so near and dear to the hearts of the homeowners that we're working with, by extension of the agents. And so having that ability to really speak into that and be encouraging and be a company that solves problems and creating more of them, that all makes a difference in the overall experience for the clients. For those who have sold homes in the past, having a good photographer makes all the difference.
It really does make a huge difference in the marketing when you are looking at homes. I mean, you're looking online first,
Yeah.
right? You're
You
not
see the
going in
homes that
person.
have like the crooked cell phone photos
Right,
and you're focusing on the toilet instead of the vanity, or,
right.
all that makes a difference. And it's not just taking the photos, right? Having a photographer who also can see things in the lens, pun intended, of an interior designer and a stager. What is going to actually make the house look good, rather than just the technical know-how of taking a photo, because anybody can learn that. You take a 5-minute video course on YouTube, you practice it for 100 hours, and yeah, you could say you're a professional. But having additional training outside of that, of understanding real estate as an industry, understanding what people are looking for, understanding the analytics and the traffic of systems like MLS and realtor.com and Zillow, what gets these top producing agents in the top producing role. It's really good marketing.
I'm really glad that you brought that up. You have so much more value to a realtor and a homeowner than just being a good photographer.
Absolutely.
So, is real estate the your primary focus?
It is the primary focus. It's what we're advertising. Now, keep in mind, I have contractors on my team, photographers who are absolutely wonderful. I've been able to spend a lot of time developing them as leaders and as entrepreneurs in their own right. So some of my people on my team, they do weddings on the weekends. Some of them do sports photography and videography. So what I always say to agents is, real estate is our go-to. But if your niece is getting married or your kid has a sports team, you want to capture those moments, you can always reach out and, I can connect you to somebody on our team who would love to do that on the side as well.
Nice. So clearly you work very hard on your business. So when you're not working, what are you doing for fun?
It sounds like a cop-out, but spending time with my family. Married, 2 little ones who are adorable, and I love spending time with them. My side passion, I'm a huge nerd. Anything sci-fi fantasy. I've got swords and lightsabers in my office, and various vehicles from my favorite stories and movies and things. If I'm not spending time with my family, I'm usually watching my favorite show or playing a session of Dungeons and Dragons with friends. That is how I like to spend my spare time.
Nice. So what is something that you wish the listeners knew about Nextdoor Photos?
I think the thing that I would love for listeners to know about Nextdoor Photos very much is, that we want the best for your business. Our goal is to help agents win, to help them reach new levels of success and growth. Like I said earlier, to be a team that solves problems and doesn't create more of them. And that can be anything from just the quality of our work to our pricing, to the convenience of how we're offering what we're offering, and the timeliness of our deliveries. And for me as a business owner, I think we both said earlier, failure is such a huge component of being an entrepreneur. What I always tell my agents is, if anything ever happens that creates a negative experience, my first priority is to own it fast and fix it hard. And that's how I model my business. It's how I model how I craft my team and hone in their skills as well.
You said own it fast and fix it hard. Is that what you said?
Yep.
I like that. I love that. What do you love most about what you do?
Oh man, I have to pick just one thing. I think if there's one thing I love most, I think it is the fact that real estate is so unique in the sense that it is a tool that you can use to build people up. And you do that through the teams you work with, but also the business to business relationships you develop. And then by extension, the homeowners are the central force that we all revolve around. So agents are working with them. We are working with the agents. So getting to build relationships with the homeowners too is such a gift. And I think that's maybe the one thing I love the most, is just using the business to build people up.
I love that. Very rewarding.
Indeed.
If the listeners want to learn more from you or connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my phone number is everywhere, so I get phone calls on the daily. I think I've already missed 5 just in these 10 or so days. But yeah, if you would like to ask any questions, if you're a realtor, you're looking for a new photographer, you just want to know what we offer, the prices we're offering it at, what we do differently, you can always reach out to me over the phone. My number's everywhere, easy to find. You can find us on Google Business, type up Next Door Photos Fredericksburg. We'll be right there, top of your search. And you can send us an email. You can check out our website, book today. Super straightforward. I think it takes about 2 minutes, even less, to fill out an order. So super convenient. Our delivery is next day. So turnaround time is really fast. And I'm happy to help any way I can.
Amazing. Gavin, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today and sharing Next Door Photos with us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.